The Sheridan School District policy updates, Mr. Chad Pitts.
Yeah, so in your packet, you have copies of 5 board policies to update to reflect ASBA current model policies. I want to kind of just hit those briefly, just so you know kind of what they are and know what changes, if any, it would cause that. The first one is 1.5, duties of the secretary. That does not change our practice at all. All that does is it just updates the formatting to reflect ASBA's format on that one. The next one is 1.14, the meeting agenda. This would change the way that we handle our public input. Doesn't do away with it, it just changes that process. The change would be, so instead of a patron signing in at the front door to be able to address the board, they would notify the superintendent in writing 5 days ahead of time to be able to speak to you all. So that's the change there. Kind of a more proactive way of handling that public input. 4.58 is food sharing, and this allows our students to share food. And what that means is, as they go through the cafeteria line, there are certain items that they have to pick up. A big one is milk and juice. They want to pick that up, but they don't necessarily drink it. So this allows them to put it in a designated area for another student that may want that milk could pick it up and drink it, as opposed to that milk going in the trash. So this just allows students to be able to share those, following those guidelines. Public 7.10, public use of school buildings. It does not change any of our current practice. It just kind of updates some language. 7.12, expense reimbursement. This allows our employees to be reimbursed for mileage that if they are traveling throughout the district for work-related events. So teachers that work in Sheridan and also work in East End, as they're driving back and forth, will be able to be reimbursed for that mileage. It also changes the per diem to an actual cost of what they spend on their food with a limit, as opposed to a blanket per diem amount. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
I do have one question, Mr. Pitts, on the reimbursement policy. I know currently we have a fleet of cars that are available. So are the employees using those vehicles if they're available, and if not, that's when we're...
Correct. Okay. So any school vehicle that we have available would be encouraged for them to use, whether that's traveling in district, whether that's going to a professional development somewhere. We would encourage them to use school vehicles. We have plenty of those available. There are times when they're not available, and this would allow that employee to be reimbursed during that time.
I've got a question, Mr. Pitt. On the milk and juice, if when it goes back into the ice chest, I notice it's going to be covered in ice. At the end of the lunch period, do they throw that away?
Yes, there's it's outlined in there. I want to say that it has to be discarded at least every 4 hours at minimum. But yes, there are regulations that way. And our current policy is set up to where they can do that, but it just doesn't, with our current set of equipment, doesn't allow us to be able to physically do it. And this would allow us to physically be able to do that, especially in regards to milk and juice. If there's no other questions, then the administration recommends approval of these policy updates.
Now, Mr. Pitts, I had a question on the, can you reiterate this for everyone else? On that last paragraph there, the district may deny any rental application that it feels is not in the interest of the Sheridan School District community. Talking about our buildings and everything, can you reiterate to everyone here why that's actually not gonna, we can still deny that, but it's just a different approach. It would-
Right, so, you're talking about policy 7.10, public use of school buildings?
Yes, because I can think of several organizations that I don't think the school district or community would want to use our facilities, but there's still a mechanism for us to prohibit that or deny that application, right? Even though it strikes it out here.
That's right. So in our application process, there are several steps that patrons have to follow to be able to rent those facilities. One of those being an application as far as what the facility is going to be used for, along with the fee schedule and some other things. But in that application, there is wording or verbiage in there that essentially gives the superintendent the authority to deny anybody use of our facility if it's not in the best interest of the school district or the community.
Okay, good.
Do I hear a motion to approve the policy updates and revisions?
I make a motion to approve all policy updates. It's back.
Are we going to do that in different votes, or are we still going to do it?
Well, Wade's made a motion to approve all. We can amend the motion.
Second.
Motion and second to approve all the policy updates and revisions. Are there any questions? Not all in favor, show the right hand. All opposed? No. One opposition.